Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ming Chen, but you can call me Ming. I'm a professional artist and a teacher, and I just want to thank all of you for supporting my channel. In today's video, I will share how to make your glazing medium and how to use it for glazing. I typically make the glazing medium myself to save money and time. I don't recommend you guys purchase various mediums, as it requires a lot of time to test their stability with oil paints. So first let's talk about oil paints. Oil paints are made out of finely ground pigments mixed with a drying oil, such as linseed oil, walnut oil, or poppy oil, which acts as a binder, and some additives like resin or wax to enhance its gloss and durability. The binding medium in oil painting, particularly linseed oil, consists of liquid substances that solidified over time, permanently adhering the pigments to the surface. This process also influences the paint's consistency and drying time. Different pigments in paints contains varying oil ratios. When paint is applied to a canvas, the binder, such as oil, can be absorbed by the ground, leading to uneven drying on the surface of the oil painting. This phenomenon is commonly referred to as sinking in. This is one reason why the old masters often experimented with different medium recipes to enhance the vibrancy of their colors for glazing. So, what exactly is glazing? The word glaze suggests the glossy effect it might give to a picture. Essentially, glazing involves using a medium to sink the paint and applying a transparent or semi-transparent layer of color over another color. The main goal is to change or alter the color underneath, while still allowing it to be visible through the layer above. Actually, we can glaze with all colors, including white. Most glazing mediums in stores are formulated to help suspend paint particles, allowing more light to pass through your oil paints. However, the specific formulas for these mediums are often closely guarded secrets that have been passed down through generations. One of the most well-known components in glazing medium recipes is resin. The earliest use of resin can be traced back into the Renaissance period, around the 15th century. Artists such as Jan van Eyck and Peter Paul Rubens began incorporating resins, such as rosin and demo, into their oil paints to enhance the gloss and fluidity of the pigments. The use of resins mixed with oil paint became popular in the latter half of the 18th century. During this time, preparing linseed oil cooked with sugar of lead and mastic spirit varnish became quite common. This medium is known as McGilp. The effectiveness of this medium depends on the ratios of the resin to oil. Then in 1767, the famous painter Joshua Reynolds documented the use of McGilp in some of his works. This is one of the earliest written records about this medium, which highlights the growing popularity. Now let's jump to the mid-20th century. Here we meet Jacques Maragh, who is dedicated to uncovering the secrets behind the vibrant colors used by the old masters. The earliest recipes involved mixtures that often used a special black oil created by baking lead oil with lead. The process was intense. They will heat the mixture for 3 days, just below boiling, and then carefully add water. This created black oil. When mixed with mastic, transformed into a thick liquid. In 1948, Maragh published his book, The Secret Formulas and the Techniques of the Masters, where he shared a bunch of recipes that promised to help modern artists replicate the techniques of the past. While many aspects of these mediums might not be scientifically verifiable, it's important to know that excessive use of the resin can increase the risk of cracking. But you might notice linseed oil and resin are essential components in creating glazing medium. A typical glazing medium consists of 1 part turpentine, 1 part linseed oil, and 1 part derma varnish. This mixture works well and dries effectively. You can prepare this blinding yourself or modify it to better suit your needs. When we make the glazing medium, it's important to keep linseed oil as the binder in your glazing medium because it improves the adhesion of pigments to the surface of the subsequent layers. Keep in mind that turpentine is not a binding agent. It does not help colors to stick to the surface. Using too much turpentine can sink the colors excessively and weaken the binder, which may lead to cracks due to rapid evaporation. I want to emphasize, regardless of the medium you choose, should be used as sparingly as possible, and it's best to maintain the same glazing medium preferable by the same in all its layers. Next part, I will demonstrate how to use a glazing medium for your picture. First, prepare two kinds of brush to glaze. This is detail brush. It's used for mixing colors on your palette and adding details. This is blending brush. Should be preferably be a fluffy brush, which is great for blending and removing excess paint from the surface. It's really important that this brush doesn't pick up too much paint and stays dry throughout the process. When starting a new layer, apply the fully dried, refined linseed oil layer. This creates an even surface for the upcoming glazing layer. This technique was key to the success of Flemish masters, enhancing adhesion and providing peeling or separation. Now let's talk about mixing colors. When mixing skin tones, start by establishing your base color. A help tip when mixing glaze tones is to incorporate a small amount of the white. This adhesion doesn't negatively affect the final appearance. In fact, it helps preserve the painting and make it easier to paint over layer. This technique can also prevent frustrating cracking that sometimes occurs with glazes. When adding medium to your oil paint, ensure that you maintain the original viscosity of the paint. The paint needs to remain fluid on the palette and not behave like watercolor. I recommend you start by applying the lighter colors first. Use the medium sparingly in this area, as it tends to be more opaque. Once you have finished with the lighter colors, move on to the shadow colors, which should be thinner and more transparent. This will require more medium to preserve the richness of the paint. Gradually introduce midtones, adjusting the ratio of the medium as needed. Remember that the lower layers should be rich in pigment and contain a lower quantity of binding medium to ensure that they dry quickly and properly. Also, adhere to the principle of painting fat over lean, but avoid applying thick paint over very thin layers. Now let's move on to blending techniques. When blending, avoid applying excessive pressure on the brushes. Stay clear of mechanical movements to keep that fluid motion intact. Always wipe the brush between using light and dark paints to prevent muddy colors. Old masters often use their fingers or the palms of their hands to bring out finest nuances. If you think you made a mistake with the paint or if the colors are off, don't worry, just stop and correct it. Using a clean cloth or wrap a cloth around your finger to gently lift any fresh paint. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I encourage you to give it a shot yourself, enjoy the process and fall in love with it. I know many people tend to give up on this method, but I hope my video inspires you to dive back in. I'll be sharing more details about glazing in future videos. Have a great day and see you in the next one.